G'day guys, Dave Geary, MMJ.
Hi, Daniel Hastings here. Welcome to November 2022's video blog. And it's, I guess in relation to this year, we've obviously, it's been a big year. Like a lot's been going on.
And sales have been strong as well.
Still been strong. We've been very happy, and certainly working very hard to maintain that. But we got to acknowledge though that the market has softened, especially since the notable number of interest rate rises and so forth we had. But I think there's still a lot of promise in the marketplace for us as far as the longer term sustainability of this market, Dave. What are you thinking that we should be optimistic about especially coming into 2023 beyond?
Well, what we need to look at is what's happening out there. At the moment, the rental vacancy rates are running around, on an average, around 1%, just either side of it, coming backwards and forward. That means that the way that things are at the moment, that means that we've got low supply, we've got high demand for rentals, all right, which is a good thing. Therefore, we've got robust growth at the moment. That robust growth is exceptional at the moment as well. Now, that's on the back of our population as well. Our population's increasing, especially in around Illawarra and Wollongong as well. But there was one of the journals mentioned that they between about 2021 and 2030, we've got about a 14% increase in our population. So that's going to turn out to be somewhere about 3.5 million people more coming into Australia, and Wollongong itself in hundreds of thousands of people extra as well in our Illawarra zone. That means we require more real estate,
accommodation,
and that's why they're saying there's not enough accommodation around. I know that everyone sees all the cranes around the Wollongong city and things are happening, but a lot of those are sold out. But we do need more property, don't we, Dan?
Yeah, and they're getting leased too.
They are.
So there's demand from a buying point of view and a leasing point of view, and we'll talk to Laura from our rental team soon about that as well. Yeah,
she might give you some more stats on that stuff
I think she'll give us some info on the ground,
At the moment, just what happened this year as well about in the 250 area code where we predominantly are operating out of, there's the highest house this year was, I haven't got the exact number because it's been withheld, but I know it's been over $4.5 million. And that's for a house. So there's some still good, strong, high sales in the city as well. And then the lowest housing in the 2.5 was over at Mount St Thomas at 686,000, but that was very early in the year. There hasn't been anything at that price since early January. So units as well. So units, there's some strong sales still out there. Absolutely. They have slowed down a little bit more than other things, but that one of the units down there on Cliff Road, which I can't say exactly where it is for confidentiality, but that was around that $4.6 million mark.
Recently.
Very recent sale as well, I'm telling within 4 weeks.
In recent
4 weeks, and then the cheapest apartment that sold this year was actually a bedsitter up the top of town. Those complexes, that's 185,000, which is not heard of very often. So I know that's massive extremes, I can tell you that now, but that's what Wollongong is. And what do you think people are coming into Wollongong for, Dan? What's about Wollongong's different compared to other areas?
Definitely after the lockdown situations, you had people looking at their flexibility in work environment and so forth, looking at an affordable opportunity compared to Sydney in particular. So I think a combination of lifestyle and affordability is obviously always going to maintain us well. It's interesting, we are certainly the cheaper opportunity close to Sydney, but when you look at us on a national scale, we're something like the third or fourth most expensive city in the country. So while we talk about affordability, maybe in relation to Illawarra Sydney, but not generally speaking when you're talking from a national point of view.
It's funny when you compare around cities around the world and look even around the Illawarra, they reckon the way that Australia's economy is, we're not going to be affected as much. Yes, we are affected, but
there's clearly some pain.
There is, and that's happening. We'll acknowledge that right now, but it actually is a lot more secure investment. One of our things is lifestyle, wouldn't you think?
Absolutely.
What we've got down here.
I mean, the proximity to Sydney still, even though we're not as strictly part of it, and look, we're undersold for a long time, and I think good and bad that we're being a bit more discovered. There's pros and cons in that, of course, as well.
So being this to the end of the year and coming into Christmas, of course, obviously we're going to have a chat to Laura and give you a little bit more about what's happening in the rental market this time as well. So we'll have a chat to Laura right now.
Absolutely. Hi everyone, as we mentioned earlier, we've extracted Dave Geary out, and Laura from our rental team, our residential rental team I should say, has joined us, and welcome for that. And we're going to try and do that on a more regular basis, because it's not just the selling side that we want to touch on, but obviously, like a lot of people have their residential investment properties as well. So Laura, welcome, and thank you for coming along to give us your insights. How have you seen 2022 now that we're near the end of it?
Well, look, the first 6 months were really busy. Yep. We saw some prices just going up and up and up. Kind of about halfway through the year, we've seen things to just slowly decline. They've kind of leveled out. We've kind of hit that peak, and things have slightly slowed down.
Yeah, so it's started to find its balancing point a little bit more.
Yeah, it's not going to keep going up, so that's probably a good thing.
One of the observations I've made, and usually you refer to the Real Estate Institute surveys in this regard, but the vacancy factor has remained pretty much the whole year really low, and in fact lower, and it surprises people quite regularly, the Sydney markets. They've been tracking towards 2%. We've been tracking around about 1%, give or take, depending on the month at any point in time. I gather we're still seeing similar levels even into the latter stages of 2022 as well?
Yeah, that's it. So looking at our statistics, we're still sitting at that 99% occupancy, so that hasn't shifted too much.
Yeah, so it's really important to note, I mean, despite all this development, and I think a lot of people obviously see a lot of the cranes that are around and the development that's going on between home buyers but also the investors, there's still not a massive, there's not going to be an oversupply for the foreseeable future. So yeah, keep that in mind too when you're looking either for existing or stuff off the plan potentially, or under construction. So what about, I guess vacancy factors one part, Laura, but what about days on market? We talk about it from a sales perspective all the time. It's significant from a rental point of view as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think overall it's sitting at about 30 days. For MMJ exclusively, we're sitting about 15 days on average. So that's what's really important to, I guess, making sure you've got an efficient property management team looking after your asset.
Yeah, absolutely. And the less days on the market, the more you're getting for the financial year or whatever long-term period you want to refer to as well.
Yeah, so we're getting our landlords, more money in their pockets sooner, finding some good quality tenants.
I think much like, and we've gone on a lot about our sales side as far as we unashamedly mention that we're a marketing-focused agency in general, and that's no different from our rental team as well. It astounds me, and it might be harder for you to say, so I'll say it, but I think it astounds me that you still see really average photos, no floor plans, things like that being utilised in the marketing of plans, I should say of rental property as well. So for me, I think one of the things that Laura and her team advocate for is making sure that how the property comes across is highly presentable, particularly from a photography point of view. You must see a massive difference from those sort of things, I'm sure.
Definitely. I think it's worth having the professional photos. They always look better, usually attract a better quality tenant. It's really important. So even little things like maintenance and things as well. Like we've got a property at the moment, we've just repainted the living area to give it a refresh. Yeah. So all those little things make a big difference.
Yeah, and they're not afraid to advise that and make sure that and certainly some of that marketing stuff, it's not necessarily expensive either, is it? And you get one set of photos, you're going to deal with that for a number of vacancies.
For years, absolutely. Yeah, we've got a really good package for our photography and things. So.
Excellent. Well, we certainly encourage you, if you've got a rental property, perhaps it's currently being leased or you're recently purchased, we'd welcome that conversation. Thanks, Laura. Appreciate you coming on.
That's good.
All right.
Okay, guys, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. I know Christmas is coming in, so Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone. And
thanks to Laura as well for her contribution. She's part of our crack rental team, so definitely welcome inquiries. If you can contact me or talk to our rental team direct if you're needing any services in that regard.
See you in the new year. Thank you.